everyone. I'm Abby Glassenberg. I'm the co-founder of Craft Industry Alliance, and I hope you are having a great day. We go live here every Wednesday around this time to talk to one of our members and find out what they're doing, what their business journey has been like. And today we are going to be talking to Jenn McMillan from So Fine Thread Gloss. So I'm super excited to welcome Jenn. She just entered, so I'm going to be talking to her in a moment, and we'll learn a little bit about how she has built So Fine Thread Gloss. Hey, Jenn.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to talk with you about your beautiful business, So Fine Thread Gloss. And I understand that you created this business right around the time that Thread Heaven suddenly shut down. And I was a user of Thread Heaven. And so tell us the story of sort of the origin of this product.
Yeah, so I have been using beeswax forever, as long as I can remember in my own sewing, and had created my own scented versions for myself to use. And when Thread Heaven announced that they were shutting down or they were looking for a buyer, it didn't go through. I had talked to a couple of my quilty friends locally and asked them what they thought, if it could be a viable business. There would technically be a hole in the market. So I chatted with a lot of my friends, and they encouraged me to go for it.
And so you said that you had been using beeswax, and I think beeswax is one of those, it's an old school. You find it even in old sewing boxes that you might get, like a thrift store from someone's estate or something like that. So it is a conditioner for thread that keeps thread from tangling and knotting when you're hand sewing that people have been using for ages. But you said that you had been mixing it with scents. Were you like a candle maker or something before this? How did you know how to do that?
No, I wasn't a candle maker. I like to dabble in a lot of different crafts. And so I had some fragrance oil to use for making lip balms and lotions and all those little things that you dabble in with your kids when you're home for the summer. So I had some ruby grapefruit fragrance oil from that. And that's where I started. That was my very first me scent. And that's where it started.
Okay, got it. And so how do you source beeswax? Like, do you go to, I don't even know. I don't know how you would start. So how did you figure out like how to source beeswax and melt beeswax at scale? This seems complicated.
So I knew that I wanted to work with as many local suppliers as I possibly could. And one of the people who I was talking to actually suggested that I reach out to a local apiary that is in the same town as her. It's just about 30 minutes away from where I live. And excuse me, I reached out to them, and they were more than happy to work with me and supply all the beeswax that I needed. And it literally started with a double boiler on my kitchen stove.
Wow. Okay, so you went out there. How much did you pick up the first time that you visited them and got like a delivery of beeswax? Was it like many pounds, boxes, or how big was it the first time?
It wasn't very big. I just started making a few samples, chatted with friends of mine who own one of the local quilt shops and asked them if they'd test it out and see how their customers liked it. And it's grown organically from there. But yeah, I started with a really small shipment of beeswax, but now
Okay.
now my orders are fairly large.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. Okay, so you started with a small shipment. I think that's great, testing it with local quilt shops. And you still had a day job during this, right? So this was like a side hustle. Is it still a side hustle, or is this your full-time gig now?
No, it's still a side hustle. I'm a full-time graphic designer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you work this nights and weekends.
Yep.
But you can do your own graphic design. So that's great.
Yes. Yeah. That's a bonus.
Yeah, totally. Okay. And so how did it begin to grow? I know wholesale was part of this business right from the get-go. And so tell us kind of the strategy of how you sort of built it over time.
So everything I've done, I've grown organically, which I'm really proud of. It's been a slow grow, but I'm happy that I haven't had to really spend much for advertising or getting out there. I started with my local shop, and I had set up, originally I was on Etsy, but then I moved to a Shopify store. And from there, I had reached out to other kind of semi-local or Canadian fabric shops who I knew the owners, or it was literally a cold call. So I started off with just an email introducing the product. And as well, I had sent it off to a few different quilters. So like Andrea Sang Jackson was one of the first celebrities who I had sent it to, and she was fantastic. She had some great feedback for me. Johanna Masco was another one from Toronto. She's a phenomenal quilter, and she gave me some really good advice and great feedback. So that was helpful as well, being able to get direct feedback from the target audience of the people who would be using it. And as well, they were fantastic to promote it on their social media channels. And yeah, it's grown from there.
And so what were some of the tweaks, I guess, that you ended up making after receiving all of this feedback, both from your local shop owners as well as from these sort of, other quilters that are well known in the industry? What were some of the things that they said that you were like, oh, that is something I should add or change?
One of them, there was a few scents that right off the bat, they were not a fan of. And that was great, because I have my own preferences. Everybody's senses are different. And so I had, just gotten a variety of different testers of different fragrances to try out. And they were great, giving me feedback if they liked it, if they didn't like it, how it smelled after the fact, if it was just too overwhelming, or like how the mixture and the formula should go. So, yeah.
Okay, that's great. And I know you have a partnership with, or I guess I would call it a partnership with Carolyn Friedlander, because I see So Fine Thread Glass featured on her site and in her newsletter quite often. So how did that come about?
So that was actually similarly around the time that Thread Heaven's stock was severely depleting. It was going missing everywhere.
Totally, I've like 4 of them, yeah.
I've been a lover of Carolyn's work for years and years and years. And reading one of her weekly newsletters, she was talking about the products that she uses for hand quilting and hand sewing. And she had said, I don't know what I'm going to do when my little blue cube runs out. And so I had sent her a message and said, hey, I'd love to send you a tester of my product. No strings attached. You don't need to promote it, nothing. I would love your feedback. And if you love it, great. So I sent it off to her, and it was about 6 months later that she, out of the blue, contacted me and had the idea to create a collaborative collection.
That's great. Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. First of all, somebody you love and admire. And yeah. I think it took, it was a little bit of bravery on your part to say, I'm just going to reach out to this person, offer to send them something for free with no strings attached. And I think that's a really good approach. And then when she came to you and proposed something to say yes to that, I mean, obviously you were flattered, but it's a little bit scary sometimes to just, maybe that wasn't in your grand plan, to do a collaboration. Maybe it was, but saying yes to something and just giving it a try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I had no idea about collaborating with different fabric designers or quilters, and when she suggested that, it was fantastic. That collaboration has opened up a lot of opportunities for me, and I will forever be grateful for Carolyn.
Yeah, absolutely. And, down the road, you'll have a chance, I'm sure, to kind of pay it forward with somebody else you just don't know. So, it's good karma. Whatever goes around comes around. So that's awesome. And have you exhibited at any of the trade shows or done anything to sort of court more wholesale clients?
So I regularly sponsor QuiltCon. I always sponsor their hand sewing lounge. So people have the opportunity to use the tins of thread gloss there at QuiltCon. And I haven't been a vendor at a show though. That's one of the challenges to me that's a little bit scary, having a 10 by 10 booth and all these tiny little tins. How am I gonna fill it up, or how is that gonna work? So I haven't gone there yet. I have considered being a vendor at Quilt Market, but I haven't made that leap yet.
Okay, yeah. And what about working with distributors? Is that something you're doing as well?
No, it's not. Right now, because of the scale that I'm at, I'm still making it all myself. So I pour it all myself, I package it all myself, I ship it all myself. So right now, just it wouldn't be feasible for me to work with a distributor, just based on the quantities that they request and as well the percentage that they would take off. So yeah, I did have a couple distributors reach out to me, but it just wasn't in the cards.
Right. So maybe down the line, but you would have to sort of ramp up your production capacity in a different sort of way in order to
Yes,
make
yeah,
that work.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. And there's so many directions things can go. Like, I don't think it necessarily has to be a huge business to be a great business, too. So you could also just keep it the way it is and be really satisfied with that, you know? Like, there's no one is out there saying it's got to be this or that, you know? It could certainly also stay small and be really amazing in
Yeah.
that way, too, you know? So what do you have coming up this year? Anything interesting, new scents, products, anything else that you would like to sort of talk about that's coming around the corner?
Yeah, so actually yesterday I kicked off my 100-day summer sew along, which is a hand sewing based sew along for people to kind of get outside and sit on their porch, enjoy coffee in the morning, and just do some hand stitching and just get outside. We've all been cooped up in our houses for quite a while, so enjoy the nice weather. And yeah, the only other thing that I have coming up, it's still semi-secret. I'm doing a bit of a holiday special above my regular holiday collection. So that is a stay tuned.
Right. Okay. You heard it here first. There's something cool coming around
Yeah.
the bend for the holidays at So Fine Thread Gloss. So, how can people kind of keep up with the news of what you are up to and make sure they're, on board for what's coming next?
Yeah, so they can follow me on Instagram at SoFineThreadGloss. They can also shop online at sofine.ca. You can sign up to my newsletter, and I very rarely send out emails, so you're not going to be spammed. But yeah, you can follow me online at Instagram.
That's awesome. And give it a try. How can you show us one of the tints? You have some in front of you?
Yeah, so this is pink macaroon. Hopefully, I have to do the whole like, oh, look at me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so this is pink
adorable.
macaroon. This is a well-used one. It's nice and linty because I'm using it with my cotton threads all the time. But yeah, they're a half-ounce tin, all hand poured.
Yeah, so nice. So treat yourself to a tin of So Fine Thread Gloss. Make your hand sewing more enjoyable. Join along in the sew along, hand sewing sew along that's going on right now that just started. So it's not too late to get started with that. And yeah, and follow Jen on Instagram so you can see what's coming next. Thank you so much, Jen.
Thank you so much, Abby.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.